Hi, everyone. The Anthony S. You're not alone. Today, an awesome guest. She runs her own company and started it while raising your son, Amanda Miller. Thank you for coming on to the podcast.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I want to jump right in. Give us some context, who you are, where you're from, and what brings you here.
Okay. Well, obviously, I'm Amanda, aka Wonder Woman. That's what a lot of people think of me as because I love Wonder Woman and I have a
Yeah,
tattoo and my car is Wonder Mom and all of that good stuff. So that's kind of my personal thing. I'm a wife, I'm a mom. But in business, I really am the CMO for companies. I love solving problems for them. And I work with companies usually from about the early six figures to about $5 million and help them overcome all of their marketing challenges.
nice. So it's Ink and Quill Communications, correct?
Correct.
All right. My first big question is, I want to dive like right deep into the harder parts of starting your own company and sticking with it. What would you say that would be?
Well, it's funny. I used to work with a client who, ironically, has since closed his business. But
Really?
when I
Okay.
was working with him, he told me that he had kind of the approach that the Spanish did when they first came over to the new country back
Okay.
in the 14, 1500s was burn the boats, that there was no way to go back. When they first came over, they had to stay. And he didn't have a plan B. And I think that that's a huge component that a lot of people look at starting a business as, well, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
You get what you put out there. So you
Yeah.
really have to start it full force and say, this is the option. This is what I'm doing. And when you get that focused on it and what your result is and what you're doing, and you come from a place of integrity, I think that's when everything starts to get into alignment and you move in the right direction.
That is so true, and I think it's if you don't have a B, all of your planning, all of your time goes into A, and it'd be very difficult to fail at A with that much thought and process going into it, in my opinion.
Exactly.
So I think you're right on with that. Do you have any besides that? Was that your mentor? Do you have any role models that help day to day? Anyone you look up to at the moment?
You know, it's funny. I usually say that Wonder Woman is my mentor, and people
Yeah,
are like, well, she's kind of like your hero. She's not really your mentor.
yeah.
But I do read a lot of books, and I'm always learning. I have been involved with a couple of different mastermind groups.
Okay,
Currently, I meet with a colleague, and we meet pretty regularly, as well as I'm in BNI, a networking group, and we have a little marketing team, and we meet regularly as well. And so that really helps a ton.
yeah.
But really seeing, and I'm also on a bunch of groups on Facebook of marketers and writers and all of that, seeing what other people are doing and constantly learning. There's nothing new under the sun, really, if you look at it, but just to remind yourself, hey, I could be doing this. I should be doing this. And surrounding yourself with those people who are doing those things
Yeah.
helps tremendously.
That's another true thing. They don't talk about much because no one wants to admit they might have to change their inner circle, but you really are the five people,
Yep,
four or six. That if you hang around them, that's who you'll become. It's not an if. That's just kind of part of being social animals per
it
se.
really is. And too many people, when they're looking to make that leap, are hanging around people who don't understand. So
Yeah,
if you came from an employee mindset and you tend to hang out with a bunch of employee people, and now you're looking to be an entrepreneur, they're not going to get it. They're
yeah,
going to think you're crazy. They're going to tell you to quit because they just don't understand. So you have to start building friends and connections of people who are the entrepreneurial mindset who get it and who will support you.
nice. And it's funny because the next question I was going to bring up was, did you change as a person? I think that actually answered itself a bit, but let's kind of give it a little more context. You had your son around the same time you started the company, correct?
Yes, I did. I had him in March of
Okay.
2006 and I launched in January of 2006.
How did that change you? That 6 month period, what really went through your mind that said that I have to make it happen this way?
Well, it really wasn't that. Quite honestly, when I
Okay.
started the business in '06, I had him And my goal was to have an opportunity to be mom. I
Yeah.
started a little later in life and I wanted to be there for him. But in the first 2 years, I really didn't put my full self into it, really. I was still in the employee mindset. And I built a website and I thought, oh, if I build it, they will come, like Field of Dreams. And that's not what happened. And I got a job, and then someone called me on it and said, hey, you said you were going full tilt with this business and you still have a job. What's the deal with that? And I
Yeah.
went, yeah, you're right. So I quit my job. And I kid you not, within 2 weeks of quitting my job, my son's father and my ex husband left us. That was the turning point,
Yeah.
because then I had to make the money and it was sink or swim. And so I had to make it happen.
How did you get the first couple clients? What strategies on that end?
I ended up diversifying initially because originally I started the company. It wasn't we all grow and change and do different
Yeah.
things. And when I first started, it was really proofreading. And people said, you can't make enough money on proofreading. And I kind of took it to heart. And they said, you've been writing resumes forever. So why don't you bring that back into it? And I did. And I'm so glad I did, because those were some of my first clients. I ended up subcontracting, doing some proofreading of resumes for a local Phoenix company. And then
Nice.
I also ended up subcontracting doing resumes for theladders.com. And in 2008, when I went full time with the business, is also when the economy tanked. So a lot of people that I was working with were resumes. And that kept me afloat during that time,
Yeah.
the subcontracting. And, as long as it's focused on your end goal, I don't think there's anything wrong with doing some subcontracting or taking a quick part time job or something like that, as long as you're focused on what you want to do down the road. If you've got to pay the bills, you've got to pay the bills. I get that. But you still have to be focused on where you're going with your business. Because what do they say? 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10 fail within the first few years of small businesses. So no one wants to be a statistic.
That is so funny you bring that up because I had a conversation with my life coach. As you know, I'm on the other end. I'm starting that management consultant company. I've got a few
Right.
clients, and we are looking at that. I've changed a little bit here and there what I offer, and at the same time, we looked at, okay, if I took like an HR role, is that for or against my plan? And I said it might be if it's based on fear, but maybe it's a role where I know I'll gain some experience in terms of helping a a group of people manage their teams better, and in my eyes didn't really deviate, and she agreed. And I think that's just a great point. As long as what you're doing lines with your end goal, you'll still get there. It might take a little longer and it might be a little less focused, but it's still growing to that point. You don't know what connections you'll make from there. You don't know what people you'll meet that will then say, "Oh, he's really good," or "She's really good at this."
Mm-hmm.
If she goes on her own, then yes, I still want her around, or I want to show my friends who are also business owners this person. So I really
Well,
like
that's
the
so true. Because I mean, I've been in business 13 years and
yeah,
I started subcontracting with the ladders. I still have clients that I got from the ladders,
nice. Congratulations, by the way,
because
13 years. Just a
obviously I
quick
didn't
moment.
steal them, but they went on to LinkedIn, they found me. And then
Nice.
when they needed work done, they reached out to me directly. And then they sent all their referrals to me. So I still have resume clients that I can date back to that subcontracting. So to your point, you just never know where business is going to come from.
Yeah.
And you don't know what doors are going to open because you took that opportunity. And you have to look at everything as an opportunity.
What is the one piece of advice for the young entrepreneur? And I'll be taking it as well because I'm more than happy always to learn something from someone that has shown success. What is the one piece advice for a young entrepreneur trying to jump into their industry right now?
I don't know if there's just one thing
Okay.
that you can do, because everybody's a little different. But if I did have to pick one thing, not like a task, like do this, do that,
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to mindset.
Okay.
Once you get the right mindset, and however you need to do that, I'm currently reading the 10x rule, which
Okay.
is all about doing 10 times what you wanted to do and getting 10 times out, but having the mindset of 10 times. And that it's huge just having a mindset that you are successful. Not that you're going to be successful in 6 months, but you are successful. You took this leap. Give yourself credit for that. And then keep your mindset in that flow of everything that I need to do is right here. I can do it.
Nice.
And I think once you get to that mindset place, all of the tasks, yes, you have to do the tasks. It's not magic. But once you have that mindset, the tasks kind of flow and it doesn't feel like so much work.
That is so true. It actually just becomes part of your day
Yep.
instead. I think so many people forget that. And I just had a conversation with another young man graduating from ASU in 2 weeks. We talked about lazy days, and it was this idea of I can't sit for a lazy day, and he's very driven. And I think people disconnect the fact that if you're doing what you love, lazy days don't happen. We have lazy days because we're trying to uh, disconnect from the things we don't like to do, i.e., a job
Right.
we not like, or working with some people, or a task that may not jive with who we are as a person. So they're just so related, and I really think that you hit it right on there. Because on the days that I'm only thinking about, you know, the goals I have and the things I want to do, the tasks just show up. They're not struggling to come to the surface. They're inspired.
Well, I think that's true of anything, really. People in relationships, they always say, well,
Yeah.
marriage is hard. Well, no, it's not if you have the right person.
Yeah.
Parenting is hard. It's really not if you have the right mindset. It's all about mindset. I have a husband, I have a child. I don't find any of that challenging. It just flows
Yeah.
because that's what I want it to be.
Fantastic. Well, Amanda, I know you have a meeting coming up with the next client, so I want to make sure listeners know where to look up Ink and Quill Communications. Where can we find you?
Absolutely. So you can definitely look me up online. I am iq-communications.com. And I'm, of course, on all the social media platforms. I do a weekly video on YouTube on my channel there every Monday. And you can reach me directly at hello@iq-communications.com.
And I will put those links at the bottom for everyone listening. And Amanda, I really do appreciate you coming out and taking some time to speak with me.
You are welcome. Thank you again for having me.
All right, have a good day, everyone, and I'll talk to you all soon.